What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk to you about ChargePoint. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what's been really moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So ChargePoint over the last 5 days is finally starting to gain some good traction, up 5.27%. And a lot of that is because of good macro data points, but ChargePoint also did put out this on the 21st. So ChargePoint and Eaton established industry first EV charging partnership. So even though this PR doesn't actually bring up any monetary points, it still is a huge catalyst for ChargePoint, and it's really going to help them fast track expansion to a lot of key areas such as Canada and Europe, and even across the US. But I think the US is a very difficult scenario, and most likely will continue to be a difficult scenario under a Trump administration. So it's good to have this so they can kind of access other markets. So I think this is actually very huge. And that's one thing that ChargePoint has been missing for a while, is good catalysts, and I think this is it. So most likely this is going to start gaining more and more traction, even leading into their upcoming earnings, which also was announced. So this is going to be on June the 4th. So I'm going to go over some kind of key levels to watch for, but at the end of the day, this expansion is huge. This partnership is really going to put ChargePoint on the map. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Aside from all that though, you still haven't seen that full level of commitment coming from institutions. So I think algorithmic trading has really been pushing ChargePoint higher, but you are seeing basically on Friday 2 transactions on the dark pool, one for 143, other one for 127,000. So institutions are starting to pay attention a little bit more, so that's relatively a good sign. And also another good sign that has been happening recently is shorts. So 22.52% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 96.61 million shares overall are being shorted. So over the last 3 months, shorts have returned roughly about 20% of their position. You can kind of see based on this green line, it went from about 30% short interest to where it is now. So I think just shorts are starting to see ChargePoint starting to gain some good traction. Their last earnings as well was relatively good. So I feel like this going into this upcoming earnings, there's a lot of optimism. So again, something to kind of keep in mind. Based on at least this, you do see a implied move of 42.4%. So single-handedly, this is the most anticipated volatile earnings in their history ever. Normally, even last one, it was 26.4, 26.48, and then 19. So it's always been very volatile, but this implied move of 42.4% is crazy. Could potentially get it back above easily that $1 mark. So we'll have to wait and see how that does play out. But aside from that though, you can kind of see some of the current estimates. So -6 cents for the earnings per share, 100.62 million for the revenue, and then over the last 90 days, 3 positive and 1 negative revisions to the earnings per share. So I feel like this is why also shorts are starting to return, because maybe they do feel like this earnings is going to be fairly good, no different than last one. As far as recent analyst ratings, because it's been a while since I've done a ChargePoint video, last one was done 14 days ago, $1 price target, B. Riley Financial, Ryan, who has a 54% success rating. And then you did have last month a 65, a 50-cent one, so nothing really crazy. So $1.14 is that price target, representing a 57.5% upside from these levels. So again, their earnings based on the implied move could definitely put them back in this general range. But looking at the options that have been happening, so 21,000 in calls, $323 in puts. So very low amounts, but you are seeing a certain level of optimism. So 57% of all the options being done on Friday were optimistic in nature, and basically they're looking as though that it's going to be roughly around that $1 range. So encumbering their earnings as well, so the week ending June the 6th. So you see $1 kind of anticipated. Bears aren't really doing all that much. So a lot of calls being done, so something to kind of take note of. If you are a day trader or whatever floats your boat in the short term, leading into their earnings, of course, with it right now at 72 cents. It is trading between this R2 and this R1. So 69 cents is going to be a strong support. 74 cents is going to be the next strong target / resistance. Going into this upcoming week, we have a lot of big data points. We have the FOMC minutes. That is Wednesday. Then you also have GDP on Thursday, PCE on Friday, NVIDIA earnings after hours on also Wednesday. And then you did have this that came out on the 25th about Trump delaying the EU tariffs. So all of which could really push ChargePoint and the broader market higher. So let me know your viewpoint on ChargePoint. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? A couple key levels as well based on moving averages. 100-day moving average is going to be at 76 cents. So leading into the earnings, that would be a very kind of best case scenario if it is above that, and because essentially 106 would be that next kind of strong resistance point. So if for any reason ChargePoint does hit a home run on their earnings, then this is where you could see it go above all the key moving averages and really go in breakout territory. So let me know your thoughts on ChargePoint. I think finally, after several years, this is long past due for a very nice recovery. Definitely not saying it's going to get back to like the 12s or whatever else, but I do realistically feel that at least over the next 1 year, year and a half, assuming everything goes according to plan, this could see most likely that $4 to $5 range realistically. That's just my viewpoint, of course. Let me know your viewpoint on ChargePoint. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Hopefully everyone's having a kick-ass weekend. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon. I give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.